Hello guys, welcome back to our React tutorial series. In this video, we're going to cover two important things. We're going to cover how to deploy our React application to GitHub. We're going to see how to create a GitHub repository, how to push our code to GitHub seamlessly. And we're also going to see how to deploy our code to Netlify. Netlify is a free hosting service where you can host your React application for free and share a live link to whoever you want to share your website to. So we're going to do these two things in this video: deploy to GitHub and deploy to Netlify. So let's get started. But before we do that, please, if you've not subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe, like this video, drop your comment. You can even put on your notification bell so when we drop subsequent video, you'll be notified. So back to this. This is our application. We have this application already. This is a booking application we've built in React. And before we go to GitHub, we're going to run this application and see how it is before we can proceed to, first of all, deploy to GitHub before we can deploy to Netlify. So I'm going to open up my terminal for this application. I'm going to do what we do before, or what I'm going to do what we've been doing. I'm going to say npm run dev. I'll hit enter and my app will be ready in port 5174. So if I open up this in port 5174, this is what we have. So this is the application we want to deploy. I'm going to make a video on how to build this application. It's going to be in my channel. Turn on your notification bell so when I upload this video, you're going to be notified. This is a booking application where you can select days you want to book someone. You can select these days are chosen already. So we have 27, 28, 29, and 30 available. You can select the date, you can put in your name, and you're going to book an appointment. It's an appointment booking system. So our app is running. We'll go back to our source code. Everything is okay. So the first thing we're going to do is to head over to github.com. We're going to set up an account. If you don't have, we're going to show you how to log in, create an account, log in, and we're going to see how to create our first repository, and we'll proceed from there. So the first thing we're going to do is to go to github.com. github.com. This is what you're going to see if you do not have an account or if you're not logged in. So GitHub is a build and ship software on a single collaborative platform. This is where you build and ship your source code, right? You can go through GitHub to read up everything. Say accelerate performance, work 55% faster, and all of this. So at your leisure, you can go ahead to read more about GitHub. So we'll move over to the sign up page. This is if you do not have an account. I already have an account, but I'm just going to walk you through the sign up process. You need your email address, you need your password, you need to set a username, your country, select your country, and of course this is optional. Email preferences to receive occasional product updates and announcements. So when you hit on continue, you proceed, you verify your email, and you'll be logged in. So we're going back to sign in because I already have an account. I'm going to sign in. I'm going to select my email, and I'm going to authenticate this, and I'm going to sign in. Right, I received an email. Let me verify my account. All right, I got this. This is 614252. Right, so I'm logged into my account. This is what you're going to see when you first log in to your GitHub account. This is loading. So first I will click on this avatar. You're going to see this is my username, this is my slogan, never get tired of coding. So I have profile, your repository, your copilot, and lots of items. So I'm just going to go take us through the profile and go back to the repository, which is our main focus for today. So I'll go to my profile. You're going to see what my profile looks like. So these are open repositories, open projects I've deployed to GitHub, and these are my contributions. I have 461 contributions this year already, and all of this. So we'll move over to our repository, and we're going to create one repository for this project. We're going to see how to do that. These are the repositories I have, and I'm going to click on new. If I click on new, I'll be brought to this page where I will say create a new repository. Say a repository contains all project files, including the revision history. Already have a project repository elsewhere. Import, so you can actually import a project from repository from somewhere else, say required field and all of that. So the first input we're going to provide here is going to be our repository name. So I'm going to call this booking platform. Right, from here you can see that the booking platform is available, so the name is not taken. So from here we have two options to either make it private or to make it public. If you make your repository public, anyone on the internet can see this repository. You choose who can commit actually, but if you make it private, you choose who can see and commit to this repository. So depending on what you want, it's either you make it public or you make it private. So for this video, I'm going to leave it as private. The next we're going to have is initialize this repository with add a readme file. So a readme file is just basically a documentation what's going to describe your application. For now, we're going to leave that open, and we'll have git ignore and all of this. So git ignore are those files that your Git will ignore to push to your remote repository. So we're going to look at that when we get to our source code. So we're going to leave everything the way they are, and I'm going to click on create repository. So this will create a repository for us, and back here we're going to see booking platform, and it's public, right? And we're going to see start coding with code space and all of this. So here we say quick setup. If you've done this kind of thing before, setup in desktop or HTTPS or SSH and all of that. So we're moving over to or create a new repository on the command line. We're going to create a new repository on the command line, and we're going to perform these few actions in our application, and at the end of the day we'll have application deployed to GitHub. All right, the first thing they say we should do is to copy this code, say echo. So this is actually adding a readme file, but because we decided to leave that pending, we're going to move over to the next, which is to git init. So you say git init will help us to initialize GitHub in our application. So back to our application, the first thing we're going to do is to duplicate our terminal, right? And we're going to do git init. This is to initialize Git in our application. Say initialize empty Git repository. As you can see here, the color already changed to green, which means Git has been initialized. So the next thing we're going to do is to go over to say git commit -m and our commit message. But before we do that, we're going to run a command called git add. So I'm going to say git add space dot, and I'll hit enter. This means I'm going to add all the files in this application to my GitHub, which I've done that. So after that, the next thing I'm going to do is to run this git commit. This is to commit all the files that I've added to my Git repository. I'll hit enter, and commit is already done. As you can see, the color changed from green to white, which means the files have been committed. So the next thing here is to create a branch, and the branch I'm naming it main. So I'm saying git branch -m main. If I hit enter, I've created a branch, and the next thing I'm going to do is to add the origin. So I'm going to add this remote repository to my local repository. So if I paste this and I hit enter, nothing happens, so it's done. And then the last thing I'm going to do is to push, since I've linked my remote repository to my local repository. I'm going to push the files in my local repository straight to my remote repository. So I'm going to do that by running this script, which is basically git push -u. Which origin are you pushing to? The origin we created, which is the main origin. Say origin main, and I'll hit enter. So this is running the upload to my Git remote repository. We give that some second and we'll be done with it. And yeah, that is done. We have here branch set up to track and all of this. So if we go back to our web application and we reload this page, we're going to have our files already uploaded to GitHub. This is loading. So here we have our files that have been uploaded a minute ago with our commit message first commit. So this is the first thing we're going to do for this application. We've successfully uploaded our file to GitHub, and the next thing we're going to do is how to deploy this our application to a live server, which we're using Netlify as our server, our free server. Netlify will give us free freemium package where we can use it as much as we want, and we can share the link to whoever is interested. So to do that, I'm going to close this terminal, and I'm going back to my browser. We're going to open up netlify.com. So if we go to netlify.com, we're going to say push your ideas to the web, right? Deploy any modern front end stack from marketing side to AI apps. Join millions of developers and teams shipping faster on Netlify, right? If you don't have an account, you're going to hit on get started or hit on setup. I'm going to walk us through the sign up process for those that do not have an account. So you can sign up with your GitHub, you can sign up with GitLab, you can sign up with Bitbucket, you can sign up with email and all. But I already have an account, so I'm just going to say already have an account. I'm going to log in. I'm going to log in with my GitHub. So I'm going to select the GitHub account that is logged in already. So if you check from here, you're seeing Amenable. This is already my GitHub, and these are my files. These are my files. So basically, I'm going to move over to add new file, right? I'm going to say add new file. I have three options to select from: import an existing project, start from a template, or deploy manually. So I'm going to select on import existing project. Where am I importing the project from? From here, you can see we have three steps. First step is to connect to a Git provider. Second step is to select the repository. Third step is to configure the file and deploy. So what Git provider are we selecting? We're selecting GitHub because that was where we pushed our application to. So this is just to authorize GitHub to authorize Netlify to have access to it. So I've selected that, the first process. The second process is to select a repository. I'm going to select a repository. So I'm going to search for the repository we created. We called it Booking Platform. And we're going to see that in some seconds. Yes, so I will have it as Booking Platform, right? 2 minutes ago. So I'm going to select this repository, and the third step here is to configure the site and deploy. So this is my team. I'm going to give my site a name. I'm going to call it Booking Platform. The site name is not available, so the Booking Platform is already taken. So I'm going to call it my Booking Platform. So site is name available. So I'll proceed. These are default configurations. What is the branch? Remember, the branch is the main branch, base directory, and all of this. You can neglect every other thing here, and we're going to move over to deploy my Booking Platform. I'll hit on deploying. It will start deploying, and it will take me to a page. At this page, it is where you can track how fast it is deploying. So if you scroll down here and click on this, it's going to open up a log for you that you can monitor if there is an error and all the error logs. So my log is already here. Here I say build image version, build build bot version, fetching cache dependency, and all of that. So if you can see, the first is initialization is completed, building is being skipped, deploying is being skipped, cleanup, everything is now completed, and my app has successfully been deployed to Netlify. So I have a button here where I can preview my app after deployment, and if I click on it, it's going to open up the web application that I deployed. So it's, as you can see here, this is exactly what we have here. This is a local server and this is a live server. And if we go back to our Netlify, you see that if we go back to our site overview, you see that our app has been deployed and we have a live link. I'm going to drop this link in the description of this video. You can click on this link and see our live application. Application is hosted in my booking platform.netlify.app. So if you're a freelancer, you can share this link to whoever you want to share it with. You want to share it with someone who wants to get your portfolio. You can also build your portfolio and deploy on Netlify and share the link to whoever wants to have access to your portfolio. So this is how to deploy your web application to GitHub, and from GitHub you deploy application to Netlify. If this video was so helpful to you, please guys, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to drop your comment if you have any question, and most importantly, please subscribe so we'll keep growing our community. See you guys in the next video. Bye for now.